Disrupt Education, episode 1717. That was my baseball number in high school.
17?
You know that. Bennett Sully here. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good, man. Great to have you, man. Tell us a little bit about what your shtick is right now. What are you doing?
So currently, basically graduated high school last year. Decided I didn't really want to go basic traditional route like a lot of kids were doing in my grade. Decided that basically I wanted to go travel and use my time before I had things holding me down like school and exploring a career. So I'm going to Europe in January for 6 months, but in the meantime, while I'm getting my funds together, I'm going to Triton, taking 3 classes, just gen eds, get them out of the way, and then when I return, planning to pursue education probably at another institution. Just got to figure out where to go.
And you're mixing some music up?
I am.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I was kind of brought up in a golden age of radio hip hop, where there was Lil Wayne on the radio, there was 50 Cent on the radio, there was a nice mix up. But the music I was truly raised on and shown was that 90s classic gritty hip hop. So what I like to make is kind of like a combination of the essence of the two, where I take pieces of both. I love the different styles of drums and everything, sampling and all that, but at the same time, I can get down with all of it. That's the thing. I try to make things on basically both sides of the spectrum, which was like on my first project where I was producing all of it, rapping on all of it. I have probably half and half of like both sides, and then some where you can even hear the blending together.
Yeah.
First part of the song, you have the classical side of it, a little bit of a switch up, different types of drums, and
nice.
got that newer radio sound, I guess.
So, and I've heard a lot of your stuff, great stuff, and you've learned a lot. Actually, you've taught us a lot, me, and I grew up in the 90s. That's what's so crazy, finding the deep cuts and such. How do you kind of play that into your education, like what you're learning, what your experiences are?
Playing it into my education, I mean, it started off as a hobby. I mean, I don't know anyone who doesn't listen to music or enjoy music, and one day I basically said, like, I really like doing this, why don't I just give a shot at doing it? And it's not something that I really want to pursue fully. It's something that I'm going to put a lot of time and effort into doing just because I really love doing it. But at the same time, I think for me, it's just something that is really just fun. But at another side of it, I can potentially make a career and earnings with it.
Yeah.
Which is something that, I mean, I think a lot of people, especially students, can really make that application. They're out here taking classes and everything, but once they get to a point where they're like, okay, what can I do? They're kind of playing a guessing game when instead they could look at, okay, what have I done? What do I like? What can I work with? Like we've talked before about how I basically turned a hobby of collecting cards into my own sort of minor business.
Right.
And some people are just kind of lost looking for something when it's really right in front of them, I would say.
So, well, let's go back then into that, because yeah, we had great conversations when you were in high school and even beyond, but like how you did start that and it kind of triggered something, like it was kind of cool to do a little bit of business and such, and now you're just experimenting and kind of you're getting some basics in right at Triton, and then just traveling. What would be, I'm just going to jump right into it. So your high school experience, you had clarity. You really did, especially like your senior year. I didn't know you that much in your early years, but hey, how did you get that? And is there something that needs to be changed like in the system to help other students find that clarity other than being lost like you?
So basically for the clarity, I'd say I needed a lot of figures within the school and outside the school who are really making an effort to help me and to understand what I am and what sets me apart from other students. How I found it was clubs, mentors, parents, and having serious heart-to-heart conversations about the potential dangers of going to college if you don't put your time to good use. So I found that through the business club, definitely. I found that through spoken word club, hip hop club, another program I did called The Launch, where all these people could just give me very real answers and were actually invested in what I was going to do with my future. And what I would say to change is, I mean, when I had my first college meeting at the school as a junior, I went to one of the computer labs. We all sat down. We went straight into the process of like applying, Naviance, all this stuff. What is FAFSA? What is all this? There wasn't really any talk unless you sought it out about your other paths. And I really think they need to give these students other ideas. Because I've seen with people who are older than me and people who are in my same grade who are just going to college just for the sake of going, where they're kind of given this notion through assimilation of everybody in these grade levels where, all right, I just finished high school, so I guess it's time to go to college. When in reality, it's a huge investment into your future, and if you don't take it seriously, it can very potentially harm you.
Wow. So how would you change like a structure then? So you had a lot of mentors, a lot of people around you, which is great. How would you change the structure of a high school from what it is now to something that would better accommodate that and giving people more choices? I think the counselors that they provide here are really awesome. My counselor was great, helped me understand a lot of what I wanted to do academically, but at the same time it was one-dimensional in terms of the academic sense, where it's like, okay, where should I apply? I like this place, I want to be in a city, but it was all about school, where to go, this class, that class. And I think that there's a lot of amazing resources here at OPRF, especially in terms of social work. And I think if there's almost like a collaboration, like a dual meeting between the two, where it's not just about your academic future, but your future personalized. Instead of just telling you where you should maybe go to college, help you find where that is, maybe they could just help you say, all right, you're going to be out of high school in a year. What do you want to do during this year? You know? Yeah.
What do you think would be the best for you, and how are we going to help you achieve that?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Like what? Yeah, it's personalizing.
Yeah.
Right? That's great, man. So what's next for you, man? You when you go, what are you looking for in Europe? You know?
I don't know. There's too much to say, but I basically went to Rome for a week last April. I went for Easter to celebrate that. And I was there just only a week, but it was just changing. Like, I was like, I have to go back. I have to.
Was that the first time?
I have to see the rest of it. That was the first time in Europe, at least.
Oh, okay.
And I said to myself, I got to go back somehow. And I'm not going to wait.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to get this done. Well, my interests and my passions are just there.
Yeah.
And basically, when I went, I figured out. This is kind of funny because it sort of answers the question of like how people can discover what they want to do. And there's not really one answer to it.
Right.
But like I was talking to you guys about how I applied to Indiana for business. I got in, and that was basically my fallback. All right, I got in Indiana for business, but I had always loved history. That was the class I always did the best in. It was always that class where even if I didn't feel like I was trying too hard, the grade was there somehow. And it was one of those other things where like I found myself on Wikipedia, blue link after blue link after blue link after blue link. Like I was just looking at like the Yugoslav wars. How am I here? Like just crazy stuff like that. And I realized that that was basically one of my true interests. And when I went to Rome and I saw this like amazing architecture, this city, this culture, I was like, man, I got to study history. I love history. That's what I've always liked. And I'm going to get a better understanding of the history of the world and the history of my own culture, of like Western civilization, by going to this place and living there for 6 months.
Would you obviously recommend like other students to go if they can, or find
it'll change your life.
Yeah.
It'll 100% change your life. It's just amazing. You can't even explain what it's like. It's so similar to you, but it's so different.
Right.
I have a vivid memory. It's actually funny. I made it my iPhone background. That's how you know it was a great memory. I was at this park on top of Piazza del Popolo, and it's just like majestic.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm in the best city in the world. Like, I just kind of came to that conclusion just by looking out on this view with the sunset. I can see like St. Peter's in the background and everything. There's palm trees, and there's no bad vibes or anything.
Yeah.
It was just an amazing experience.
Being aware of where you are, you're very good at that.
Yeah, and it does open up your eyes to understanding other people.
Right. Hopefully we can do a better job in high school. That's what we're trying to do, man. Look, man, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Here. Bennett Sullivan, great analogy. Overseas, dude, man, this is how we roll. Thanks, man. Some great stuff.
Thank you. It's an honor, man.
Keep disrupting education, and you keep doing it overseas, man. We'll see you next time, guys.